In 1978, I met a comedian, Andy Kaufman. And he was performing his avant-garde release act in a club in Queens. The performance started with Andy playing the bongos and for some unknown reason, sobbing. We became friends and I acted as Andy's straight man in clubs and field trips. At the Improv in New York, Andy would start the show by insulting girls and saying,
"I don't respect girls, so one of them comes up here and wrestles me down."
This was supposed to be my job. I sat in the club drinking Mountain Dews, trying to get up the nerve. In the meantime, I was also supposed to be heckling him. And after a lot of Mountain Dew, I managed to get pretty abusive. Wrestling him down, though, was really hard, because Andy really fought. On our field trips, we would go to Coney Island to try out some of Andy's theories on cutting-edge comedy. We would walk up to one of those test your strength games, the ones with the big sledgehammer and the bell, and Andy would make fun of all the guys swinging away, and I was supposed to make him for one of those big stuffed bunnies. "Oh, Andy, honey, please get me a bunny, please, please." Finally, Andy would step up to the thermometer and take a swing. The indicator would rise a few inches, and "try again, weakling," would flash.
Okay, this game is rigged, sir. I work with children all day, and right now you're acting like... Oh, I'm childish. Who's wearing the dinosaur hat here? It's my job. I demand to see the manager. This is an outrage. It's a disgrace on America. I hate my life.
We also went on the Rotor, the ride that plasters everybody against the walls of a spinning cylinder and stretches their bodies into Doppler blobs. Before the ride actually starts, there's a few awkward moments while the attendant checks the motor. And the riders, bound head to foot, stare at each other. This was the moment that Andy seized. He would begin by looking around in a panic, and then he would start to cry.
Help! Help me! I want to get off! I want to go off this ride. I changed my mind. I want to get off. We're all gonna die! We're gonna die!
The other riders would look around self-consciously. Should they help?
Yes!
He would then begin to sob uncontrollably. I loved Andy. He would come over to my house and read from a book that he was writing. And he would read all night. And I don't know if any of this book ever even got published. Now, I've never been one that hopes Elvis is still hanging around somewhere hiding, but I will always expect to see Andy reappear someday.
I dreamed there was an island that rose up from the sea, and everyone on the island was someone from TV. And there was a beautiful view, but nobody could see, because everyone on the island was saying, "Look at me! Look at me! Look at
Because everyone on the island was from the TV, and it rose up from the sea. But they had a beautiful view, but nobody could see. Because everyone was saying,
paradise is exactly like where you are right now. Only much, much better! Better, yeah, better! Better! Remember that.
Language is a virus. Language is a virus. Language is a virus.
Language is a virus, yeah!
Back in 1974, I went to Mexico to visit my brother, who was working as an anthropologist with the Tzotzil Indians, the last surviving Mayan tribe. Now, the Tzotzil speak a lovely bird-like language and are quite tiny physically. I towered over them. Every day, I followed the women around since my brother isn't exactly allowed to do this. And every day, we got up at 3 a.m. and began to separate the corn into 3 colors. Then we boiled it, ran to the mill and back, and then finally started to make the tortillas. Now, all the other women's tortillas were 360 degrees, perfectly toasted, and perfectly round. And after a lot of practice, mine were still lopsided and charred. And when they thought I wasn't looking, they threw them to the dogs. After breakfast, we spent the rest of the day down by the river, watching the goats and braiding and unbraiding each other's hair. So there usually wasn't much to report. One day, the woman braided my hair Tzotzil style. And I saw my reflection in a puddle, and I looked absolutely ridiculous. But they said, before we did this, you were ugly. Now maybe he will find a husband. Now, I lived within a yurt, which is a thatched structure shaped like a cupcake. And there's a central fireplace ringed by sleeping shelves, sort of like a dry beaver dam. My Tzotzil name was Losha, which loosely translated means the ugly one with the jewels. Now, ugly, okay. I was awfully tall by local standards, but what did they mean by the jewels? I didn't find out what this meant until one night whenever I was carefully putting my contact on one of the sleeping shelves because I tossed the case. And then I noticed that everyone was staring at me, and I realized that these were the jewels. The transparent, perfectly round jewels that I put on the sleeping shelf each night and carefully hid in my eyes each morning. So I may have been ugly, but so what? I had the jewels.
You know those nights when it's totally dark and absolutely silent? And you don't dream. And there's only blackness. And this is the reason. It's because on those nights, you've gone away. On those nights, you're in someone else's dream, busy in someone else's dream. Some things are just pictures. They're scenes before your eyes. Don't look now. I'm right behind you.